else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now. So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subjects and chemicals about the console failing out. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and
Yeah, baby. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben and EK because it is an EK Monday. It's a Super Discord Monday. It's a Cash Money Monday because we've been cashing on every single Monday that EK's been here. And frankly, we're now about 5 weeks into this show, and we've been cashing for you guys with great regularity. Welcome to Wanna Bet. I'm at the beach this week, so you don't get to see my fancy Wanna Bet signage. Behind me, as I mentioned, Eric Casilius, who's with us every Monday, is with us. Beltway Ben Hall is here, refreshed after a weekend of weddings and milk chugging, because it is milk chugging season. If you haven't figured that out, it's like 102 degrees everywhere on the East Coast. So Beltway Ben's drinking gallons of milk because he's got a stomach of steel. Gentlemen, welcome. For people who haven't watched the show before, first, second, third down. We get right to it here, people. It's our three favorite plays of the day in order. Fourth and long is where we discuss long shot bets or long-term bets. Today, we're each going to go with a Super Bowl prop that we like. And then in overtime, we're breaking down the AFC East, and we're giving you plays that we like on every team in that division. Futures plays that we have researched, that we have played, that we want you to cash with us on. Beltway Ben, before we move forward, we had our last show on Friday. We had a lot of Gold Cup matches. We had a lot of PLL lacrosse games. Here's what we did over the weekend. So, yeah, not too shabby. That's what we've done for the season. Beltway Ben is super hot in MLB right now. I've been doing well in MLB. We crushed the Gold Cup for you guys. Like, we lost the Panama match. Should have at least been a money line cover. They gave up a late goal. We lost that one. We were all over Canada. Unfortunately, a red card at the end of the first half completely skewed that match. But how about the U.S. draw, plus 380? How about Mexico 2-0 over Saudi Arabia, plus 370? How about Mexico to score over 1.5 goals, minus 150? But, hey, you got to take some of the layups with the slam dunk. So we anticipate being hot this week as well because we're putting in the work. EK, we hope you had a great weekend. Anything that you want to let the people know about before you give us our first bet of the week?
Yeah, two things quick. First of all, because I don't know anything about soccer. I've just been tailing your picks, and you've been absolutely crushing it for me. I'm making money on soccer, and I don't even know anything about it. I mean, yeah, red card, yellow card, blue card, I mean, whatever. I mean, I am basically Ted Lasso betting this thing. You know what I mean? Like, just got to get to the playoffs. No playoffs? Why'd I even do this thing? That kind of, I'm the ugly American, but you have been crushing it for me. And the place to get all of our picks, Ben's, mine, Jason's, is the Super Discord. It's going to be and is the biggest and first one of these ever. Why just get one guy's picks when you can get everybody's picks? So you click on the link under any of our bios. It takes you there, and you become part of the community. It's blowing up. And this week we're adding a feature where we're going to go in and chat with people. So you're going to get to ask us questions, talk. We'll just chop it up, which is different than being chopped these days, which is my kids. And I guess being chopped is the new way of saying someone is ugly. So we're going to chop it up, but we are not chopped.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're not chopped. I'm probably quasi-chopped. Your picks definitely are not chopped, DK. Where are we going on first down?
I'm going to go to San Francisco and take the Giants over Arizona. I love that I've gotten a lot of value overnight, and this is now down to 135, 136 pretty much everywhere. The Diamondbacks are a grease fire, and now they got to see Logan Webb. So give me all that San Francisco. The Arizona bullpen got taxed yesterday, plus they stink. That's a great combo for me. I don't know who they're going to run out there in the second half of this game. And if you follow me, you know that in these dog days of baseball, this is where a lot of what I do from the start of the year becomes front and center, and that is this. As soon as a team wins 3 in a row, I bet on them until the streak ends. As soon as they lose 3 in a row, I bet against them until they lose. For example, right now, Miami, who doesn't play today, has won 7 straight. I've cashed 4 straight plus money tickets on the Marlins. All right? You get a team, somebody's going to win or lose 10 in a row. Somebody's going to win or lose 9 in a row. Somebody's going to win or lose 11 in a row. It happens every year. And I win 7, 8, 9 times in those stretches. And ultimately, it survives and exceeds the plus minus against those teams that actually only have a 3-game winning or losing streak. So give me San Francisco. I'll keep fading Arizona, and I'll keep winning.
Love it. Beltway Ben, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going to dive into the WNBA here, and this is a play that you're going to have to wait until September for cash. But I like the Golden State Valkyries to make the WNBA playoffs at plus 100. I would get it now. The more they win, the more things change, right? It's not moving in a good direction for bettors, but it is still plus 100. You can get it some places. They just beat the Storm yesterday and handled them. Like, the Chase Center's filled again. The Warriors played there. Fans stopped kind of going. Now fans are loving this team, and they really enjoy going to support them. They're 7-3 at home. Kayla Thornton's their star, and she's been in WNBA 10 years and really, she was a role player for most of her career. Will get spot starts here or there, but she won a championship with the Liberty, and all of a sudden goes to Golden State and is their leading scorer. They're going to get Salawan back after her overseas commitment. Hayes has been great for them coming off of the injury. So as they get more healthy and get a few players back from their commitments overseas, things are going to change. In the WNBA, if you don't know, 8 teams make the playoffs regardless of conference. And when you look at teams below them in standings, like the Mystics are the only team that I could see catching them. And even then, like, they're so high up, the Aces still have to catch them, which I expect to happen. The Aces have the best player in the WNBA. Indiana, Caitlin Clark's been dealing with some injuries. We know the WNBA will want her in the playoffs, but her injuries and everything like that, like Golden State could finish ahead of them. But even if they don't, I still expect them to slide in as the 8th team. I think they get in ahead of the Mystics, who have a lot of good stuff in their future, but I do think they won a pretty good pick this year. So this will be the first expansion team to make the playoffs in their first season in WNBA history, but I think it happens here at plus 100.
Glad you brought this up, Ben, because a lot of the sort of newbies or the casuals, all they want to talk about is Caitlin Clark, and it's like Caitlin Clark is always the story in the NBA, WNBA, especially her coming back from injury and now struggling a little bit. But this is the league-wide story in the WNBA, and that fan base and what you mentioned, them having a legitimate home court advantage and it being an intimidating place for people to go into, even though they're an expansion team. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people I read who cover the WNBA are echoing your sentiments that this is for real and this team's going to get in the postseason. My first down, we're going MLB. It's going to be an MLB heavy show for me today. We're going to get deeper into the Gold Cup tomorrow, though, trust me. We're going to go with Wheeler over his strikeout props here. Wheeler's last 4 outings against the Padres, he's over this, 7-7, 9-9. The Padres' strikeout rates have started to creep up as their on-base percentage has come down from last year's numbers, as they've been more of an inconsistent offense and guys reaching a little bit more swing and miss. Go look at the Padres over the last 2 weeks. You're going to see a lot of 9 showing up under the strikeout total. Wheeler's in tremendous form right now. Like, at home, he's got a 2.39 ERA. At home, he has a 177 batting average against. He's been great against the Padres for his career, 2.0, or well, at least the last 4 as a Philly, 2.06 ERA. And if you just drill down on Wheeler at home, his strikeout totals at home for the year, 8, 9, 7, 6, 6, 7, 13, and 10. He's over this in 6 and 8 of 8. He has 6 strikeouts in the other 2. If you want to play the Phillies on the money line or the run line, I didn't get there because of the value, but I will tell you, the Phillies have won 14 of the last 17 matchups against the Padres. 10 of those wins they covered on the run line. They've won 9 of the last 13 at home against the Phillies with a lot of, against the Padres with a lot of run line covers there as well. But I've been doing well with the strikeout props lately. There's a great tool at Pine Sports called Jackson. It's helping me out. It could help you out. Promo code WB25. We'll go with Wheeler there. All right, Beltway Ben, second down.
Yeah, second down, I will go to the MLB, and we're going to go with JT Realmuto. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and you can get it at minus 120. He's slashing 349, 426, 554 against right-handed pitching at home this season. He's facing Waldron, who is in his first MLB start of the season, right? He suffered the oblique strain during spring training and spent some time, in the minors, had a few rehab assignments, assignment starts and then had 5 AAA starts where righties were hitting 303 against him with 2 home runs. Real Muto has seen him in his career, 1 for 3 against him. Again, that's not a large sample size, but it does help that he's seen him, and he's hitless in 2 straight. So this is a good spot for Real Muto to break out of that slump. The Phillies offense can put guys on for him. He hits a little bit down in the lineup. We're talking 6-7, but with the damage he does at home, I do like him in this spot to go over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -120.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, let's hit Wheeler and let's hit JT Realmuto in that game. And that game starts early, so let's cash early. Second down, I'm going to the A's, Sacktown A's, and the Rays, the suddenly kind of struggling Rays a little bit. And I'm going to go first 5 under here for a lot of reasons. One, that Rays offense that was doing improbable things, right? Things that none of us thought they could really sustain. Well, guess what? All of a sudden lately, they're not quite sustaining it. This kid Lopez on the mound for the A's, like I thought JP Sears might break through for them. Like I thought there were some other arms they had that might break through. This kid Lopez, his last 3 starts, 20 innings pitched, 1 earned run allowed. If you look at the first 5 innings of Lopez's last 9 starts, in 6 of them, there have been 4 total runs or less. And like he's been getting the job done. This is what's happened first 5 with him on the mound for the A's. Lead 3-0, 2-1, lead 3-0. We got a couple of 4-1s in there. Then we've got a 2-1. Like, okay, I like that. On the bump for the Rays is Rasmussen. If you haven't been paying attention, Drew Rasmussen should be a Cy Young candidate right now. His last 7 outings, gents, 1.88 ERA. He's got a 2.16 ERA for the season at home. At home, the league is batting 195 off of him with a whip under 1. In his last 8 outings, 7 of those games have had 4 total runs or less through 5. So he's not getting a lot of run support. This kid's pitching well for the A's. The Rays lineup is scuffling a little bit right now. They're regressing. So I'm going first 5 under here. I like the value there. EK.
Yeah, as an analogy that I often use here, it's like the 3 of us went out to dinner. We ordered our stuff. The plates came, and I like yours better than mine. I am in the same game, and it's similar, but I actually think yours might be even a little better than mine. I like Tampa in the first 5 over the A's. I want everybody to look at the numbers here. The difference between taking them on the run line versus just taking them on the money line in the first 5. The rule of thumb is about 32 cents, just to educate people, okay? And what that means is this. If you're going to play, because if it's a tie, you don't lose, right? Yeah. So I'm taking Tampa over the A's first 5. If I play money line and it's tied, I don't lose. If I play run line, I have to give a half run. I have to be ahead. And what is that worth, sort of stemming that tie for a tie? It's worth about 32 cents. So see where the value is. Right now, the value is on laying the half a run because I get it all the way down at somewhere in the 120s. The A's are in the middle of an absolutely brutal stretch right now. This is like their 3rd city in 7 days, all on the East Coast, no days off, and they show up down there in Tampa. And it is going to be muggy and wet and gross. And these guys are beat up a little bit after what they just were in New York. Like, this is a full all the way down the coast travel. Now, I know they're not flying 34F JetBlue middle seat. I'm not suggesting they are. But still, there's a lot of travel right now, and they're in the middle of it. And now you got to see Drew Rasmussen, who is one of my, starred guys that, whenever he pitches, I'm looking and seeing how can I play on him and that great ERA. So I'm going to say that Tampa will be ahead after 5 innings against the A's, but I like yours just as much, if not more, under 4.5. And I'm actually, as soon as we're going to be done, check and see what the alt line is under 5.5. It may go up to 170. And if it does, based on the cents value, it may make more sense to go there.
I like yours as well, EK, and the Rays are clearly a far superior team than Sacktown. So I will tell you as well. All right, third down, I'm staying in MLB, and I am taking the Blue Jays, who are still sticking around. Blue Jays runs over 3.5 against the Yankees. There's a couple of reasons why I'm doing this. First of all, Springer and Vladdy own Rodon, and Rodon just his last 3 outings against the Blue Jays, 14 and a third innings pitched, 18 hits, 14 earned runs, 7 walks, 2 hit batters. That's an ERA of basically 9. How has Toronto done against lefties this season at home? Second in the MLB with an 834 OPS. Only the mighty Yankees have been better. We're talking about a team slash line for the Jays at home against lefties of 284, 370, and 464. I also love this. 11% walk rate against lefties at home. Third best in baseball. Just a 17% K rate at home against lefties. Also third best in baseball. Rodon has struggled with his command a little bit lately. The Blue Jays have been good at home. Blue Jays lineup has largely been getting it done. The Yankees bullpen to me is also suspect. So that 3.5 was a siren call for me. EK.
I'm going to go to Texas, and I'm going to take Texas at home on the run line, which means I'm getting plus 1.5. I'm going to go up to $1.70. That was sort of my, I look at, again, I'm an implied percentages guy, right? Minus 150 is 60%. Minus $2 is 67%. So I'm right square in the middle there at just about 63, 64%. I make this well into the 70s in my favor in my models. So I'm getting a full 10% of value here, and I got to take it where it sends me, and it sends me here. Trevor Rogers, who you guys know well here in Baltimore, has been good at times and threw over 100 pitches last time out. Every single time in his major league career, he's thrown over 100 pitches. The next time out, he's gotten lit up. Right? There's been no exceptions. He is that way every time. And now he's going to make his first start ever at Globe Life. And if you look at the charts, it says guys making their first start in that park, it's a regression, not an advantage. So that's one of those, when you start for the first time there, it's not great. So that's box number 2. So I got a guy when he throws 100 pitches, gets lit up next time out, making a start in a park where you don't start well. Then the Baltimore pen is pretty taxed and not great. And oh, by the way, the Texas pen is the 4th best in baseball. I put all that together and I get plus a run and a half, and I'm guaranteed all 9 at-bats. Give me Texas.
Well, and they're facing a lefty, Patrick Corbin, who's better at home than on the road. And the O's hit okay at Camden Yards. The O's don't hit at all on the road, and they really they're the worst team in the majors against a lefty. And Corbin's getting another look at them. So, yeah, I'm with you, and I almost was on that bet. Beltway, Ben, bring us home in third down.
Yeah, 2 futures plays for me today. Right here, I'm going to go with Clemson, and it's like the chocolate milk play of the day. We do have a chocolate milk with us today.
Nice.
Chocolate milk. I told you I'd bring it out. I told you I'd bring it out. But I like Clemson to win the ACC championship at plus 115, right? We talked about Clemson a bunch before when I talked about Klubnik. He is going to be the most productive quarterback in the country probably, and I definitely think in the ACC. They bring back 16 starters, and it's not heavy to one side, right? They have 8 on offense and 8 defensively. The offensive line, 4 or 5 starters back. They're going to have to fill in left guard. That's the easiest position on that offensive line to fill, especially at the college level. You get Williams and Wesco, 2 of the top wide receivers in the conference. And then cornerback, A.J. Terrell's brother, Avion Terrell, he is probably the top corner in the conference. So they have a lot of talent all throughout their team. And, of course, they have Dabo Swinney leading things. Finally dipped into the transfer portal a little bit and has used it kind of going against his wishes. And he's won more than any coach in this conference. And I keep going back to their schedule. Of course, the non-conference games do not matter, but they play LSU and South Carolina. LSU, that's week 1 to me where they make their statement and go out and beat LSU. And then you finish the year in South Carolina. But you look at their ACC schedule. Georgia Tech, who's trending in the right direction. They don't move me. Syracuse, who they should handle. North Carolina, who everybody's going to be on them in Bill Belichick's first year, but I'm not really buying them. Boston College, SMU, Duke, Florida State coming off one of the worst years in their history, and Louisville. Like, this is Clemson's year in college football to me. I think they win the ACC championship. I was on Miami last year. Didn't end super well for me because they choked at Syracuse, but they were right in until the end. This year they go out and get a quarterback who I'm not fully buying while some are. So I do think the ACC is Clemson's to win, and they have a ton of talent.
And by the way, did you see that Florida State now? The contracts got out for their NIL guys, and they're making guys sign deals that say, if you get hurt, we can cancel. If you throw equipment, we can fine you. And if we do cancel or fine you, you agree to waive your right to counsel. And the other schools are now recruiting against them on that. You'll be hearing about that in the next few days.
Love it. Love it. And I miss my dogs. My dogs are not at the beach. They were not, we can't have. But I am riding. We've got somebody staying at the house with them. But Meatball, I'm a unit on your Clemson play there, Beltway Ben. I'm with you in spirit, in dog spirit as well. Okay, 4th and long. Look, it's a long time between now and the start of the regular season of the NFL, let alone the Super Bowl. But it's never too early to look at some of these matchups. And we each have a Super Bowl play that we have sprinkled on. EK, you are a guest here. Please regale us with how you've played the Super Bowl.
All right. I love a good exacta. I'm going to start with my NFC team, which is the Eagles. And it's by default. Who else are you going to take there? Detroit lost both coordinators. I mean, Dan Campbell's a motivator, but I don't know if he's the X's and O's guy. San Francisco, I don't know who they are right now. Ravaged by injury last year. Minnesota, who's their quarterback, and is he any good? This is how bad the NFC is. Washington was in the conference championship game last year. I don't think that says something about Washington as much as it says how little I feel about the rest of that conference other than Philly. Philly is just better. I don't know who the second best team is in the NFC. I don't trust any of them. But I trust Philly to get back there. I'll take Philly. The AFC is a little bit more interesting, right? Cincinnati is kind of like that really hot girl that you want to marry, but you know it's going to be a disaster because she's already been divorced like 3 times. You just can't trust her in a big spot. She has no defense. No, it's exciting, but it's not going to be a win for you. So I'm not going there. I look at Buffalo, and she's the girl that everything on paper is right, but when you go on dates with her, there's always that little something missing and you fall a little short. There's not every year something happens to Buffalo. I mean, I looked at Buffalo. I just can't do it. Kansas City to me is a team in regression and in decline. I mean, I'm kind of looking around, and there's one team, and I'll say it. I have long said Lamar Jackson is never going to get a team to the Super Bowl, and I have hammered him in the playoffs and in big spots because I think he's in a big spot overrated. I think this year I'm going the other way. You're allowed to change your mind in this life. And I am changing my mind. I am going with the Ravens. So I'm going Eagles and Ravens. This one's for the birds. That can be our tagline for this year's Super Bowl. Give me the exacta.
Yeah, that would be an interesting fight, a Raven versus an Eagle in real life. I'm guessing it's an Eagle, probably has
all right,
wings.
Easy there, animal husbandry, whatever you get. I don't know.
A lot of great bird sounds out here, by the way. Love it, love it, love it. Beltway Ben, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going, and it kind of sucks because we're all going to have one team the same, but I'm going with the Rams and the Ravens. And I like EK's a lot. I just think that when you look at it realistically, Matthew Stafford's been there. Sean McVay is the offensive guru, and I like what they're doing up front defensively, right? Like Jared Verse, Fisk, what they have on that's not something that they've had since Aaron Donald, and they've been searching for it. And now that defensive line is back. They generate a lot of pressure, but you bring in Devontae Adams, like losing Cooper Kupp, it's whatever, but I think Kupp was on the back end, and so was Adams. And I think
played
Adams,
last year.
Yeah, right. And I think Adams can fill that role a little bit more. Of course, behind it, like Tyler Higbee, you bring him back. So I am buying Matthew Stafford to get them back there. I think the Ravens in this matchup would ultimately win it. But for the Ravens, we talked about it just a week ago, and that was when we gave out the future for them to win a Super Bowl. When is it going to happen if not this year? This is the team to have it happen. There still might be an edge rusher away, but they can always add that. We know DeCosta might get a little aggressive at the deadline if he has to. I just keep looking at the AFC, as EK mentioned. And honestly, the Chiefs have been the Ravens' kryptonite, right? That has been everybody in the AFC's kryptonite. But I think the Chiefs are slowly starting to kind of slow down a little bit. And even at that, I would like to see the Ravens match up with them in Baltimore versus in Kansas City in the playoffs. Same thing with Buffalo. I'd rather see Buffalo have to come to Baltimore because we know we just saw it last year. Like, things do not go well there for the Ravens. 2 years ago, the Ravens had the number 1 seed. I think they need to get it again. And I think they will. I know they start off against a tough schedule, but after that, things turn on. If they can stay healthy, this is the best team in the AFC and maybe the best roster in football. I do like a Rams-Ravens Super Bowl at plus 4,000.
Yeah, and I'll bring it home, and I'm obviously on the Ravens as well. And I like a Ravens-Packers Super Bowl. I just think there's a lot of value on the Packers. You can find this in some places at 50 to 1. They have a playoff pedigree, right? They were a bad break away from possibly going to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Jordan Love is back healthy. He was never healthy last year. LaFleur is a legitimate head coach. It's the second year in the D coordinator Hafley system. I think that will be a big deal for them. They always do a good job in the draft and get immediate impact out of their draft classes. They're a draft and develop team. They've got a lineage of great personnel men from Goody now, and you can trace it back to Ron Wolf with some Ted Thompson in between. Those truisms are tried and true, and it generally benefits them in real time. I think they're solid enough in the trenches on both sides. For me, the quarterback, when he's right, is an MVP candidate. They have a legitimate home field advantage, and as we've all kind of said, that NFC field and there's a reason why it's so sort of tilted towards the Eagles, and understandably so, but it is difficult to repeat. So, yeah, I think the Ravens have the best roster in the NFL. I think Lamar will eventually break through. Even when Tom Brady had a stranglehold here, Flacco broke through. Big Ben broke through a couple times. Mahomes broke through in the back end. So, yeah, I just think for that value, I could see that Super Bowl. It makes sense to me. Okay, overtime, we are drilling down on the AFC East. Why don't we just, I guess we'll each just run through our bets. It's probably the easiest way to do it, right? We've each made a play on each team. We'll give you guys a snapshot of why we went there. EK, take us through your division.
All right, I'll try to make this as quick as possible. This is my favorite thing to do. This is where I've been the best. You know, you sort of self-scout.
Yeah.
These kinds of things is where I make the most money for my people. I'm going to start with the Bills, and I really drilled down on this division over the weekend. Khalil Shakir over on receptions, 69.5. The last 2 years, he has 79% of his targets he has caught. That's number 1 in the NFL. Last 2 years, there's one player in the league that has 100 catches and has only dropped 1 pass, Shakir. So he is the most sure-handed guy in the NFL who gets the biggest percentage of targets in a great offense. All right? He missed 3 games last year and went over this number. And his role is going to go up. This is a gift. 69.5. If he doesn't get hurt, there is no way for him to be under when I look at it. He is one of my 5 or 6 most underrated commodities in the NFL. Grab him over now. Give me all of this I can get. Miami. Jonnu Smith, another rare over for me. I'm going to go over 3.5 touchdowns. He led this team in touchdown catches last year. He is their first option at the goal line. Think of it this year. Think of it this way. Jonnu Smith had 13 targets inside the 10. That's 5th most in the NFL. Not among tight ends, among everybody. So this is the guy they throw the ball to. It's not little Jalen Waddle. It's not little Tyreek Hill. It's not anybody out of the backfield. It's him. He's got to get 4. Give me that one. And by the way, these numbers last year were with Tua out when they couldn't score any points. Right. Next, Justin Fields. I'm going to fade Justin Fields every chance I get. He has never averaged 200 yards a game in any season in his career passing. He's probably going to throw it less this year. He may not start the whole year. Who knows? And in the last 4 years, nobody, and I mean nobody, has a lower completion percentage than Justin Fields at 61%. This is of people who have started. So I'm going to go under this number. This is one you go, that's it? That's the only number? Then you start doing the math, and you're like, he's going to have to play 16 or 17 games and play well to get over this, and I'm going to bet no. Lastly, the numbers are not up yet because he's not a big name. So this is my, whenever they post anything on Demario Douglas, go over on everything. Josh McDaniels, when he's your offensive coordinator, he had the Raiders. They were 12th in scoring. The last time he was in New England, they were 6th, and it was Mac Jones's rookie year. They were 6th in scoring. Don't be fooled by the fact he's a terrible head coach, that he's not a great offensive coordinator. He's the Norv Turner of our generation, all right? And when he gets an offense, they are great. Plus, nobody throws the ball to the slot guy, number one guy, more than Josh McDaniels. Who's the slot guy, number one guy? That guy, Demario Douglas. Who are they going to throw it to? Stephon Diggs isn't even going to be ready for the start of the season. And they're going to be, watch, Douglas is going to be at like 46 and a half catches. And I'm going to throw people out of the way like I'm trying to get off the Titanic to run to the window to bet him over on everything when he comes out.
EK's version of the Titanic, women and children last. I love it. Yes. Look, a couple of things to highlight.
I'm that guy who is what? I'm the guy who's the whatever his name is. Anyway, I'm Billy Zane at the Titanic. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. You're definitely the Billy Zane of this show. Before we get to Ben, a couple things there. Yeah, I mean, think about Wes Welker. Think about Edelman. Those were not guys who a whole lot was thought of, but they'd catch a ton of balls in McDaniel's offense, and they'd move the change. The Jonnu Smith thing I love for a couple of reasons. It is the big body for Tua, but he could also be dealt by the deadline and go get off that sinking ship and go somewhere where the quarterback is better, everything's better, and help get you over there if need be. Fields is going to be running a lot, and I think with Aaron Glenn there, a defensive-minded head coach, it's not about idiots like Hackett proving what they can do anymore. It's going to be a very conservative play to the strength of the defense operation there. So yeah, and didn't Shakir catch like his first 70 targets last year or something ridiculous like that? So
yeah. Again, 79% over the last 2 years, which is the best in the NFL, with one drop over the last 2 years. So nobody, and I mean nobody, catches a higher percentage and has better hands than that guy. I'm looking right now, and you know, I mean, he had 76 catches on 100 targets last year. So yeah, give me all that.
Crazy. All right, Beltway Ben, what do you got in the AFC East?
Yeah, I'm going to start here with the running back in New England. And over 700 yards for Ramondre Stevenson at -110. And the big thing with him is the fumbles, right? Fumbled 6 times last year and lost 3 of them. And that's what's being talked about the most. Vrabel said he is going to be a big part of what they're doing offensively. I know they drafted TreVeyon Henderson. And when you look at his numbers in college, TreVeyon Henderson did not fumble much at all. So that is a big thing there. But you look, just look at what he's done over the past few years. He's over this in 2 of 4 years in the NFL. Did break 1,000 the only season that he's played all 7 games 3 years ago. I think that we could see him break 1,000, which you can get plus 300 on, but I'm sticking with over 700.5 yards. I think he bounces back, right? Last year was the first year he's lost multiple fumbles. Previous years, he only lost 1 in both and then 0 in his rookie year. But this is a big season for him. They have to get a lot out of him. I know deals with some injuries. He dealt with some concussions last year, but I do think it's a bounce back season for Ramondre Stevenson. Now to another running back in the division, 1,000+ yards from Devon Achane at plus 150. And I am just as low on the Dolphins as we all are, but like they got rid of Raheem Mostert. They got rid of Jeff Wilson. We saw those vets take so many carries from him. I know their offensive line sucks. I get that. But when you look at the carries that he's probably going to get this year, if they can just be average at best in some games, Achane is so quick to the hole, and once he gets an open field, it's over. He's the home run hitter. He does so much. 1,000 yards at plus money to me with those bets out of the building. That's a must play for me. And he was also healthy last year. His first year, we saw him deal with some injury. Last year, he played 17 games. If he plays 17 games again this season, and I know it's a big ask for the running back position, but 1,000 yards, all we need is 93 more. I think he gets there at plus 150. The next is the Jets, and I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. Agree with almost everything EK said about the Jets passing situation, but even with that, Garrett Wilson still should clear 1,000 yards. And yeah, like he's done it in all 3 years so far, and all we're going to need here is 926. This is a guy that demands the ball. He wants it. He can make the big play. He's good with catch and run. So he's done it all 3 years in the NFL. I don't see how he doesn't do it this season. And the Jets are going to be playing from behind in a lot of these games, in my opinion. And if that's the case, the number 1 wide receiver should be picking up garbage time things. And here is where I'm going to finish. And Jason knows last year I was pretty high on Kincaid. I thought this was going to be tight end 1 and he was going to be the guy. He wasn't. It was a down year. He dealt with some injury. Josh Allen threw the ball a bunch of different places. But at some point, I think Kincaid is going to have to be that first-round talent they took. They didn't take him in the first round to be tight end 2 on their roster and to not get a lot out of him. Josh Allen needs his tight end 1, and I know Knox has been awesome, but I think we're all expecting that downturn from Knox. I just think he's good in the red zone, but the big plays I think are going to slow down, and that's where Kincaid can pick up, right? He moves like a wide receiver at times. He can bring a ton to that offense. He had 673 in his rookie year, and that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be tight end 1. He's going to explode. Last year, he only plays 13 games, deals with injury, and only had 448. I don't think he'll be dealing with injury as much this year, and I do think he will be a big piece to that offense. So I like him over 550.5 receiving yards.
Love all those plays. I mean, Shakir keeps things moving, but this is the explosives guy, and he's the explosive guy in the big body type, and they don't have that traditional wide receiver. So I love that. And look, the Dolphins' rushing numbers, if you're going to go into those markets, make sure you're filtering for the outside zone with Tua and that stuff where the backs kill it and McDaniel's scheme kills it, and then with the other quarterbacks, because the box was so stacked that everybody knew they were just handing the ball off when Tua wasn't there. And so, yeah, I think Achane goes over that easy. All right, for me, I'm focused more on the team market right now. I still have a lot of work to do on individuals. We'll start with Buffalo. They're a hard team to play. When I play futures, I want plus money if I'm waiting that long. The way I play Buffalo is to lead the league in regular season wins. The division is garbage. I think we all believe that. They excel at winning regular season games. It's their final year in this stadium. The people are going to be going gaga. Allen got another extension, and they generally take care of business in the regular season. And I like the way their schedule sets up versus some other people who you might look at in these markets, like the Ravens, like the Eagles, who had to go deeper into the playoffs and might be a little fatigued. So that's the way I played Buffalo. We'll go next to the Jets. I think Aaron Glenn is legitimate on the defensive side of the ball. This was a pretty darn good defense for a while until they fired Saleh, who I wasn't that high on, and went with an interim coach who was overwhelmed. And then the defense suffered because now you lost Saleh and you lost Ulrich, the two main people running it, because Ulrich's running around putting out fires and dealing with Woody Johnson's nonsense and dealing with Aaron Rodgers' nonsense. But they have a defensive core there. And I'm not high on the quarterbacks in this division other than Josh Allen. We'll get to Drake May. Defense and a running game with Fields. Say what you want about Fields. Weren't they 4-2 when he got benched? Yeah, they were in Pittsburgh, a team that arguably has less talent than the Jets. So for that kind of money, I think this could be, honestly, 7 wins, 8 tops. I think the number 2 team in the division has 8 wins, and I think the Jets defense is going to help them against the Miamis and the New Englands of the world. So I love that bet. So if they're finishing second, then where do I have the Patriots? I played the Patriots under 7 wins. You're getting plus money there for them to win 7. Like, I love Vrabel. You love Vrabel. Vrabel's great, but like, this was maybe the worst team in the NFL last year, and it wasn't all just Jacoby Brissett. I think the Drake May hype needs to be pulled back a little bit. Yes, I think McDaniels can make it a more functional offense, but they've got a lot of flaws defensively. Like, they've got one corner and what else? Like, that Foxborough has turned into one of the easiest places for visiting teams to go into and win now. They never, ever, ever cover at home anymore. Just look it up. And I think they're overvalued in the markets, and there's a lot of hype. And then that brings us to the Miami Dolphins. And there's a couple different ways that I've played them. My favorite way to play them is to finish last in the division at plus 220. McDaniel, I think, is going to be gone by Thanksgiving. I think the Jets last year and the Dolphins this year are going to be very similar arcs to how their seasons go. And I think the bottom is falling out. There's guys who want to be traded there, right? They still have to deal with the Ramsey situation. I don't think Jonnu Smith's going to be there. Tyreek Hill doesn't want to be there, but that's a marriage of convenience now. And the coach has been totally exposed. So I think they finished last in the division. I also like them under an alt win total of 6.5, under 6.5 for plus 170. All right, I know we went a little long today, guys, but we wanted to give you a lot of NFL content. And we're going to continue to do that as we kind of hit the dog days in the U.S. sports schedule. Ben and I will be back tomorrow. We'll probably be playing a little bit of Man Against the Machine. We want to tell you about this tool, Jackson, this AI tool that's been created by Pine Sports that's really helping us take our capping to the next level. EK, let everybody know where they can find all our picks again in real time.
The Super Discord, Ben and JLC and I, all of our picks in one spot. Just go to any of our bios on X or Twitter, whatever you're calling it. Click the link underneath. It'll take you right there. You can be part of our community and get everything that we do.
Excellent. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll have more MLB, WNBA, Gold Cup for me tomorrow, especially where, as EK said, I've been crushing it. A lot of big plus money bets. All that to come throughout the week on WannaBet.